Dirkens here. How you doing? Well, a couple of weeks ago, asked all of you, give me a relevant college football team you want me to do a review on. And I emphasize relevant, not doo-doo state or, And it just come pouring in. Come pouring in like the time my grandpappy left open that back door and all those rabid squirrels come in. I tell you, I found out the medical community is quite nice, even when you're foaming at the mouth. But anyway, number one was Oklahoma. That was the first one. Then, by like an overwhelming response, next one was Georgia Bulldogs. Now here, let's step back and look at this. For those of you who don't know, Georgia and Clemson's within 2 hours of each other. We recruit the same players. There's a lot of history in the 80s, especially. We're playing, going back and forth. Then, every 5 years, we'll play each other. Now, I hate that. I hope we get back to playing each other. But anyway, Georgia, you did great last year. I mean, it makes me want to throw up a little bit because I'm a Tiger. But I have great respect for you. You had about 15, 16 years of just absolute bad luck. You had great talent, bad luck. You'd have a 10-win season. You'd have a 7-win season, ready to fire somebody. They would win an 8th game, and then they'd get another 5 years. Then you hire Kirby Smart. Now, between you and I wasn't sold on the hire. Well, I'll tell you right now why he was hired. And you go down there and you write a bunch of crap I ain't going to read. I can give you a bunch of coaches who was hired, who it was actually, they were just good coordinators, but they were not great hires. But Kirby, he's done a good job. Recruiting at a high level. Last year, it was, you just did an awesome job. You lost on a fluke play. You really did. You lost you just lost on a classic play. Ain't nothing to hold your head down. Now, that lost at Auburn, I still don't get. But, Auburn's Auburn. Come out there and they'll beat you one week. The next week, they'll get just bested by doo-doo state. It happens. But this year, going to recruiting, look at that. You got Justin Fields. He's talented. He's awesome. Everything's lining up for you. You lost Nick Chubb, but you have Swift, and we saw how great he is. And something else you don't need to take for granted, okay? There's a team, and I won't call their name, who right now has a little quarterback battle. It's really distracting. There are people who's divided over the issue. I won't say their name, but all I will say is that you should thank your lucky stars that Eason said, you know what? I see my time's done here, and he went ahead and transferred. We wish him the best, but you don't have that to worry about. Fromm is the man. So, we're going to go over the schedule real quick for the Georgia Bulldogs, okay? Here we go. Starting off with Austin Peay. I think that's how you say it. And I really don't care if it is the right way to say it, because if one of their alumni fills up my board with going, well, actually, do you understand that we have the #1 peanut degree in the... I don't care. The only thing I know about you is every time you play anybody that's worth, their worth in salt, they rip your underwear off and beat you in the face with it. It is what it is. You win that game. That's September the 1st in Athens. Then the next week, you play a team that we all know very well, and if you have to play them, you hate them. You know why? Well, here's a little reason. The Gamecocks did beat Clemson 5 years in a row when they had Lattimore, Gilmore, all the Moores, Clowney, all those guys. And still the best bowl they reached was the Capital One Bowl. To hear you tell it, you'd think that they were the Cowboys of the early to mid-90s. But they wasn't. That was the best they did. And Georgia, I ain't picking at you, but you have a really bad tendency of blowing it against Carolina. Even when you have mounds of talent more than they have, you still blow it. Don't do it, and I don't think you will. You'll go to Columbia. It's CBS covering the game. 5 minutes into the game, I'll have to put it on mute because I can't take all the going banter back and forth. And Tim Tebow's going to be named 17 times. We all know it. No offense, I like Tebow. I'm just telling you, it's time to stop talking about him. Even he's embarrassed. He's like, stop mentioning me. Next week, play Middle Tennessee State. You're going to win that one. Then you're playing a team that's definitely in the Southeast, Missouri. Don't look at me and give me some boring reason of why that they were admitted to the SEC. It was a bad decision, even if it was a business decision. They don't bring anything to the table. You'll win that game. Then you're going to play Tennessee. Let's just be honest with ourselves. Tennessee, what went on there did not make sense. Year before last, they should have been in the college football playoff. They wasted that talent. They've had a coaching change. Couldn't find a coach. It got weird. Do be careful with that game, but I think you're going to win it. Next week, you play Vanderbilt High School in Athens. You're going to beat them. Great doctors, horrible football players. Then you're at Baton Rouge. The only other team in the world who surpassed the talent y'all wasted in the early, late 2000s, well, you know what I mean, 2010, 2013, all that much stuff, is LSU. I mean, you can look at the Pro Bowl, the pro team, and see so many LSU players on it. But they still blew it. It was coaching. I think you're going to win that ball game because I just have a feeling you're going to win it. Next week, have an open date, and then you play the game we all know you're known for. Florida has a new coach, but he's not new to the SEC. Dan Mullen. I think Dan Mullen's a good coach. I don't know if he's the answer for Florida, but who cares for y'all? All you're going to do is go down there. I think you're going to beat them. For a team to have a standing chance, a fighting chance, you have to have a quarterback. In this case, at the end of the day, it's like having a Ferrari with no wheels on it. You can go tell all the pretty girls to come ride my Ferrari, but all they can do is shut the door, put on their seatbelt, and use their imagination as though you're driving them down the road because you have no wheels, and that's Florida. You'll beat Florida in Jacksonville. Next week at Kentucky. I don't care if they have a Stoops, a Spurrier, a Meyer, Saban, and I even said that, Saban or a Sweeney. Kentucky always sucks. Yeah, they'll do something that makes everybody go, Kentucky is going to be. Since I've been alive, Kentucky's been about to do something. They're like if somebody was about to take a dump and then the turd got right down there to the butthole surface, decided to go back up in there. They're constipated. Kentucky ain't doing nothing. You'll win that game. Here's your chance to get a little revenge on Auburn. Here's your chance. Don't blow it. It's in Athens. I think you'll win that one. Then the next week, you play UMass. You'll beat them. I ain't even going to give commentation. Then you play your favorite team, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Georgia Tech is running a 1947 offense, and I'm going to tell you Paul Johnson is a good coach with that 1947 offense. But when you don't have a ton of athletes across the board to keep running that 1947 offense, every now and again he'll get you. But for the majority of the time, you'll get him probably 8 out of 10 times. This is going to be one of those 8. Well, I don't think you're going to lose a game. So I started off but I can't remember whether I said this before, but I'm going to say it now. I ain't picking at you because the ACC is down, especially Florida State not being worth the crap right now. But I'm going to say this to you. Your schedule, if you lose one game, it's your fault. If you lose one game, it's your fault. I don't see Alabama on there. I don't see Alabama. Auburn is suspect. Auburn is suspect. I'm just telling you, Auburn is suspect. They are probably the most difficult game I'm looking at that you have is Auburn. I would say LSU because they bring in good talent, but I'm not sold on the coaching. I'm not sold on the coaching. Other game, just because it's a rivalry and because there's just something in the water when y'all go play them, is, believe it or not, South Carolina. But you should not lose a game this entire season. Clemson should not lose a regular season game this entire season. Shouldn't. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you this, and I know that a lot of people are going to get mad at me, and this is not a slap at the SEC, and if we'd like it to stop happening, then these teams, once they get in, they shouldn't win a national championship. Because that's muddy in the waters. But I'm going to tell you, if you play Alabama, and you are, in the SEC championship, whether they win or lose, they're going. You know why? Because they have the talent. And if they walk in there undefeated, you're going to play them. Win or lose, you're going to have to play them probably again. Just is what it is. But Georgia, it really looks promising for you. Like if there's any team aside from my Tigers that I can look at in Alabama and say, you should go undefeated, like I feel comfortable. If I was a betting man and I wanted to mortgage Bobby Dirkens Jr.'s hair in there, put some money on some of these games, I'd put it on you. So you have a lot of talent. Your schedule's in your favor. You don't have to play Bama until you get to the SEC championship. And if you're rolling right, you could beat them. Could have beaten them in the national championship. You could have a banner about to hang up there in Athens. I know it's hard to deal with, but trust me, I know. But you have a lot of talent. What I will look at and say in the SEC, and this is, I can do this on another video, but I will say this about the SEC East. The SEC East, it's you and everybody else. I know I'm going to catch flack for that. I don't care. That's like in the ACC, it's Clemson and everybody else. It just is. If Taggart resurrects that team, great. I just don't think we're going to see an Easter Sunday down there in Tallahassee and everybody be crying, singing Christian tunes. It ain't going to happen, I don't think so. Well, anyway, Georgia, there's your review. Everybody leave a comment down there. If you want to subscribe, hit that button. It ain't going to cost you anything. Somebody like me the other day said, well, Bobby, I ain't got a YouTube thing. Create you a little account and subscribe. The Lord is blessing you with good news. And with good, I mean, I'm telling the truth, y'all. I tell the truth about Clemson. Anyway, I appreciate you being there. If you leave a comment, keep it clean. Remember, I'm my youngins and my grandma, when her mind's still with her, she tries to read and everything. And then if she reads a cuss word, and I've approved it and everything, then she tells me I was wrong for approving the cuss word. And then because her mind's bad, 3 days later, she's using the same word to cuss out to nurses. Who knew? It's Bobby Dirkens saying, I'm right. I hope you agree with me, or you're wrong. Bobby Dirkens.